Hey guys, it's Creature Singing here back from C&H Smallage again for another informative service and repair video. Video right now deals with a customer's machine here. It's a Lawn Boy Gold Series. Lawn Boy's top of the line about 20 years ago. This carburetor right in front of me is off a 1993 Lawn Boy Gold Series with the earlier engine that was before the door force, because the door force came out in, I believe, about 97, 98, and this is the model that actually had the pre-door force two-stroke engine on it. And the lady was having it winterized by us over here today, and she was complaining that the machine was revving up and it was not being ran properly. Every time she was revving it up and turning it back down to low speed, and the thing was not functioning properly off and on, and she said it was acting intermittently for me over here, and she wants to have us checked out. So we checked it out over here, and we found out that the governor spring, you can see right here, is was getting kind of weak. So I always replace these things anytime I have a carburetor that's not running right, because these are relatively cheap to replace on there, so you can do it relatively quickly for that. So we replaced that, even though I didn't actually replace it yet on this one right here. I always keep those in stock. Plus, on top of the carburetor, the air box, you can see right here, had tons of debris on top of it, but she was, I guess, using her machine for winter or fall cleanup out there. There's this entire air box was completely packed with all kind of debris on top from, like dust and else blowing around. And the other thing I got here is the actual air vane arm that fits on top up here. You can see right here they have two notches where the metal part fits. It actually holds down this bracket on here, and this one bracket arm right here, let me put it down, you can see it better. This one right here, let me see, let me get over there. There we go. See right here, this is where it hooks on to the apparatus for the spring to adjust the weather vane right here. Well, apparently this one right here, it is bent down a little low. You can see it right there. It's hanging down just a teeny bit right there, and it should be completely flat across there. You can see. Let me see, get a better picture right here. There you go. There you go, right there. That's probably as good as I can get it right there for you guys. But that thing should be relatively straight, because whenever I had it on the carburetor, oh, that damn thing fell on the ground. It was actually hitting on the back here. Is actually rubbing right on here on top of the carburetor. You can see it right here. It has like a little small rub mark right here, but I can't really zoom in on it too good. But you basically get the gist. That black part was rubbing right here, and it was basically humping up over top of that right there. And it was actually sticking on the carburetor spring part right there, and it has to be completely smooth back and forth on it, so it was basically bonding up, and the engine was running wildly every time she was doing it intermittently, turning the idle speed up and down on her for that, back and forth like you normally do. So this part right here, you can actually see it underneath here. Let me see if I can show you it. It was actually rubbing right here in the bottom of this mechanism arm right there for that. So we got to replace that. I'm going to replace the spring mechanisms for the air vane on here as well too, and it'd be a good idea to replace the air box too. I always replace these things as well too, so you can cover all bases. Replace the air box, replace the arm, replace the spring mechanism on top of the air vane as well too. Plus, it also has a metal bar that holds up on top here as well. This bar, this is where it rides actually on top of the carburetor. Basically, that sits way on top of the carburetor right here and rides back and forth on it like that. We also checked out the ports on this specific machine as well too. So I'll show you what the ports look on this one after we actually cleaned the ports out on this one earlier this year. So let me show you what they look like here. Okay, let me get a better picture here for you guys. Here's what it looks like underneath here. You got your crankshaft coming out. The crankshaft seal looks relatively good. I don't see any leakage or any type of blow-by coming out of there for that. And underneath there, you have your exhaust port. You get to take your muffler assembly completely out of there, so you can get to the exact exhaust port itself. And there's your exhaust ports right there. You have 3 ports right there, 1, 2, and 3 on these machines right here. They got 3 ports, and if they start getting clogged up with any debris, that's basically
cut your horsepower down to nothing on there for this. So those ports got to be absolutely clean all the time. So you can see what it looks like right there. This thing's zooming in on there for you. Here's the 3 right there. You can barely see them. Let me put the flashlight down a little more. But that's basically what they look like right there. When I'd say they're about 95% clean right now, so I'm not going to worry about them at all right there. But the muffler here too. Let me sit this down here. Yeah, the muffler had tons of debris on this thing right here. You can see it's all caked up with crap on the edges and everything else, like right here, down here in the bottom for that. And that thing is held in by a bracket. You got a bracket right here that needs to be cleaned up. These things should always be cleaned up and put back together dry. Yeah, whenever you put these mufflers back on, you always want to keep the entire bottom dry and clean, because you don't want to put any like Mogo anti-stick stuff on there, because they tend to have the real fine particulates tend to start sticking on here. You can see where my finger's at. This stuff's like basically sticking on there. That's from cutting your yard with like dirty grass and stuff like that. It has a lot of dust in the grass, so that real fine stuff actually starts clumping together, and that's what you see right there on there for that. And it took me about a half an hour to clean all this crap up on here properly. And then once you clean up with a scraper, you just blow it off with some either carb cleaner or brake clean. So you put it back completely dry, so there's no way it's going to attract any moisture on, because you don't want any moisture, because moisture starts rust. And that's only metal on these parts right here. It's a steel casing on there for that. And then you got 3 bolts where they go 2 on there too. You got 1, 2, and you got the 3rd one right there as well too. So whenever you put those back together, I always use it's called I bought my local Ford dealership. It's a Ford Motorcraft anti-seize nickel, synthetic nickel lubricant. Basically what you do is you put on the threads. First you clean up the threads. You can see them right here. They're not too clean, but basically what you do is you clean up the threads on there, and you put it together. Just make sure all the threads are clean. Make sure the bolt's clean, top and the bottom of the head. So just put that like that, and you put a lot of that anti-seize on there for that. So whenever you put it up inside there, it won't be a bitch to get it out of next time. And the same thing goes with the crank on here as well too. You want to make sure this crank's nice and clean all the time. I recommend putting some anti-seize on this shaft as well too, because if somebody tightens it up and doesn't use the machine for years upon years after that, they can be a real bitch to get off too for that. So always remember to put some anti-seize on the tapered part right here, and clean the threads up right here as well, and put some anti-seize on here, and put some anti-seize on the actual nut that goes on there too. So if whoever uses the machine after we give it back to them doesn't have any tune-ups or anything else done for a few years, it won't be a real bitch to get them off on there for that. So that's basically a review of one machine I'm working on today. If anybody has any questions, comments, whatnot, you can just give me a call here, and I will attempt to answer your question if you know my phone number, or if you want to leave a detailed message on the bottom of my page here, you can do that as well too. And I'll have another video probably up maybe tomorrow about another lawnmower I'm also working on too as well. I'll see you guys.